you describe for me Charlotte in your own words? For a long time, I wanted to move out the city. Once I graduated high school, I wanted to move out. I didn't want to Wingate. But then you came back, and then it's like, okay, yeah, I'm thinking about moving to New York 2018. Or 2016, 2018. That didn't happen. And then, you know, still here. And I feel like I'm supposed to be here now. But a lot of people, and I've been seeing kind of the creative scene rise, but just describe for me Charlotte in your own words.
Charlotte confused. Yeah, for real.
Why do you say it's confused?
Nah, I mean, you know, Charlotte wants, and I also too, there's like two different mentalities in Charlotte, and then even within those mentalities, there are like other like mentalities and like subcultures, right?
Yeah.
So like mainstream Charlotte is driven off of business and driven off of money. Yeah, I mean, it's everything that falls into that category. You know what I'm saying? Whether it is a brewery or a bank or whatever, like however you think about it, like that's the mainstream consciousness, because the money dictates how those things happen. You know what I'm saying? All the condos and all that kind of stuff. Then you got this kind of other side of Charlotte that wants to, you know, really increase the culture of it, the arts, the creativity, wants to have good schools, wants to, you know, make sure people have good housing, all these different types of things. And those two worlds are having trouble merging. So that's why I said it's confused. Okay. And then the challenge is, too, that, like, mainstream Charlotte has created this brand or, like, this narrative that everything's cool because it's working out for them. Or it's working out for a certain subset of people. Or there's a certain set of there's a certain amount of success or perceived success. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, well, why would we need to change anything? Like, everything's cool. But you got this whole other, like I said, mentality and consciousness and existence that doesn't necessarily think that everything is cool. So that's why I said it's confused, because it's kind of like, I feel like Charlotte's, what I say? I said Charlotte's mind and Charlotte's heart is at war for his soul.
Explain on that if you can.
Yeah, Charlotte's mind is like I said, the two things, like, its mind is like the money. It's like everything is just working. His heart is like its history, its heritage, everything keeps giving.
That's what you're saying. And
it's at war for his soul. It's at war for, like, what it's passionate about. Where's it gonna go next? It's like an angsty teenager. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just this moment they're the skater, next minute they're punk, next minute they're in the hip hop. They don't know. They're just going through the motions. And Charlotte's going through that process of just trying to figure itself out. Which is why I'm just creating opportunities to bridge those gaps and to let people know who are like me and into the things that I'm like you can manipulate what that mainstream consciousness, how it operates, but you gotta participate. You can't just sit back and be like, man, that's whack. You don't know brewery, bro. Well, start a bar or a lounge, you know what I mean? Create something, you know what I mean? You're not allowed, it's like voting. You can't complain if you
because of the consciousness of Charlotte, that's why people don't create something, is because of
if you wasn't a creative, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. If you relying on the consciousness to tell you that you're a consumer, you ain't a creative anyway. You ain't a boss anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't really somebody who's gonna go get it anyway. If you're waiting on something else to tell you to move, I don't need nothing to tell me to move. I'm out here just doing what feels right and trying to, like, support those who are doing the same. Okay. So, you know what I mean? If you waiting on direction, then if you waiting on anything other than what's in yourself, then you just gonna take an L regardless, because you're gonna get influenced by something else. Yeah. That's what marketing's for.
Yeah. So why stay in Charlotte with all that it is, confused?
Because where I'm gonna go? Well, I'm gonna go somewhere else. Why am I gonna go to Atlanta? Why am I gonna go to New York? Why am I gonna go to LA? Why am I gonna go to these places where I don't have, not necessarily, because I mean, I got connections in all these places, right? And I could go somewhere and be fine. Yeah. Like, I could land a job or, you know, link up with homies that I already got there and make something pop. I could get it anywhere. You could drop me anywhere in the world and I'm gonna get it. But it's like, this is my hometown. It's in need of something different, and I feel like I have the mentality and the skill set and the network to be able to move the needle. So, you know what I mean? It's been 5 years, the next 5 to 7 years, continue to do the work, you'll see what happens. Maybe you can move the needle a little bit. And again, like, I'm young, I got the time, I got the energy, I got no kids. You know what I mean? My family's here, I got really deep roots here. So, like, why not? Why not stick it out and make it happen and push for it? Because if I don't, you know what I mean? Another thing is, like, if I don't do it, who else gonna do it? That's how the mentality is, like, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, somebody might, but, you know, why leave it up to chance when you can just put in the work yourself?
So you're not discouraged by climbing to Charlotte at all?
Nah, bro, because, I mean, it's out here, you just got to know how to get to it. You got to know how to maneuver. And, you know, once you start figuring out how to maneuver, it'll start to open up a little bit. And then, as long as you're cognizant and as long as you're always thinking about how you can lift as you climb, you'll always have more people with you and you can continue to sustain whatever it is that opens up. So, I ain't discouraged because I know like I've been listening to my new playlist that I'm working on now for this art show. I get in like playlist mode where I listen to the same playlist over and over and over again when I'm getting ready to like move into like a new creative portion or a new creative phase. So because I'm getting ready for this art show, I created a playlist that's centered around what the concept of the art show is, or songs that make me feel like they align with the concept.
That's good.
One of them is been listening to one of the tracks up there is Family Feud by Hov.
Okay.
And he says, at one of the lines, he says, I know why I'm here, how about you? And it's like, that stuck out to me because it's like, that's like the mentality right now. It's like, I know why I'm in Charlotte. Why are you here? You know what I'm saying? Like, and not on some like arrogant type stuff, but just on some like really evaluating, like, yo, why are you here? Yeah. Should you be here? Do you want to be here? Are you willing to create and manipulate the environment around you to make it conducive for you being here? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not intimidated by nothing. Because the same people that's making stuff happen in Uptown or in the government center or in wherever, they wake up in the morning and they put their pants on just like I put my pants on. And it's people. Yeah. It's people and systems.
So what is Charlotte missing?
Just infrastructure, man. Just create a business. Just like, it ain't missing nothing but, just more industry. You know what I mean? More record labels, more production companies, more creative agencies. Yeah. More people just kind of like deciding to work from here and build up here and expand. You know what I'm saying? Like more designers. It just needs more infrastructure so that creatives can start to like get their feet wet and like be solidified and live and stuff like that. That's the only thing that New York, LA, Atlanta, whatever has. They have industry. So you can go down there and like connect with a few people and maybe get into like an actual job that'll sustain you. You know what I'm saying? Here you gotta have like a different, specific type of hustle to know how to like connect those dots because everything is pretty corporate. So you gotta know how to maneuver into those rooms.
But that's so corporate.
Yeah, man. So it's just about creating more. People just gotta create more. Yeah. And not just create more art. Like create more structures. Yeah. Create more businesses. Create more restaurants and opportunities and lounges and spaces for people, co-working spaces. Like create more stuff that has your perspective in mind and people that serves people like you.
But so with that, you said something. You said creative agencies. You still started one. Talk about Hue House for me. And elaborate on why you created Hue House. What's its purpose? And going into 2020, what are you trying to do with it?
Yeah, so Hue House was created to bridge the gaps within the municipal art scene and like creatives with color. I started with two business partners, David Daly Arrington and Davita Galloway. And really the purpose is just to connect Black creatives with dollars that exist. Okay. You know what I mean, for their projects. And we kind of do that in two different ways. We kind of see it in, it exists in two different capacities. One is like a for-profit creative agency where we kind of go into these organizations and, connect with them, provide marketing services that allow for them to connect with those communities through their channels that already exist. Yeah. And then the flip side is creating a nonprofit where we can actually be a funding pillar and a funding structure for those artists, and then we get to control the purse strings and decide who we want to fund. You know what I'm saying? Which gives us more control and more power and more leverage. So, man, it's really just about creating more spaces. Again, I practice what I preach. Yeah. Like I just tell everybody, start more stuff. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Start more creative agencies. Yeah, you know what I mean? Start more, find a lane, find something that needs to be serviced and create something for it. Yeah. So, I'm practicing what I preach. This is me practicing, or us practicing what we preach because it's a team. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So how long was that process during? Because I feel like I didn't know anything about this. It just
It's been we started talking about it at the end of last year. Okay. And it wasn't talked about in the capacity of like, oh, we're going to start a creative agency together. It was like, yo, we see these gaps exist. What do we want to do about it? So it started off as a conversation like that. So like, do we create an event? Do we create an organization? Do we create a nonprofit? Do we create a company? What do we do? Yeah. And we talked for like 6-7 months, like just linking up every couple weeks, like just chopping it up. You add another person to the conversation, add another person to the conversation. Somebody leaves the conversation, somebody comes back into the conversation. You know what I mean? It's just like, it was just conversation. And then I got offered I said something, I went on a Twitter rant, which led to me getting to be able to do an article for Charlotte Magazine, which led to me doing a content series or being offered a content series, and I was like, well, shoot, if I'm gonna use this content series, I'm not gonna use it for my like. It don't make no good for me to just be like, oh, Dave wrote that article thing about whatever creative. It was just like, yo, like let's use it as a platform to launch something. So whatever this is gonna have to take shape. So I went back and told the group, like, yo, this is an opportunity. This is what we're gonna do. Like, what we doing? And they was like, okay, cool. And we just, that's what we landed on. And, you know, it's been a blessing, bro. Everything's working out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So how do you feel, like you were just saying, you've seen gaps and you try to fill it. Do all your creative ideas, I know you just talked about how you just been creating just because you want to create. Do you feel like most of your ideas exist to solve a problem? Or that you're solving a problem, or as you're creating it, you realize, oh wow, I'm actually solving a problem, or is it from getting?
Nah, I mean, sometimes I just be making stuff just to make stuff. You make stuff because I'm irritated, making stuff because I'm happy, making stuff because I'm sad, making stuff because I'm mad. I just be making stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? Especially when you talk about like the t-shirt and merch and all that kind of stuff. I just be making stuff just to create like, oh, this is a dope idea. Yeah. Let me just put this out. So not everything is made with the intention to solve a problem. Okay. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just making stuff just to make, and then. Yeah, to your point, sometimes it does solve a problem, sometimes it don't. Sometimes it, you know what I mean, it just gets off, it sits in a box. You know what I mean? Or it sits on my hard drive. Yeah. So it's just about the expression. So what's next for Dave Has Wings, Dave Butler in 2020? I'm just sitting in it, man. Holding it all on the road, drinking from a fire hose, man. Just trying to fit it all in. That's it, bro. Just staying busy, head down. I got a full-time job and then 3 companies outside of work. I got my individual consultancy, The Featherbed. I got AWOL with my boy Devin Smith, who's based out of New York. You know what I mean? We selling curriculums. Shout out to Hope, because watch this, because I'm gonna interview you next. Yeah, he's here too, matter of fact. He's here for the holiday. He'll be down here next month. I'll link y'all up. But yeah, I got AWOL, Way of Life with my boy Devin Smith. He's based in New York, but he's got North Carolina roots, you know, by way of Philly. And then, you know, we got Hugh House. So yeah, bro, it's just, you know, putting in work. That's it. And just continue to push everything forward. That's what 2020 is about. Like, you know, 2019, I said I was going to really stretch myself and do as much as I could. I know I was coming back into this full-time job, and I was just like, but I'm not going to stop everything else I got going on outside. Like, the job can't stop everything else. So luckily, it's a role that, you know, gives me the autonomy to do what I need to do from a business perspective outside of work. And, you know, just keep pushing everything forward. How do you find that balance? You just work, bro. I don't think about it too much. I look big picture, obviously, and I have like vision, which is why I end up in a lot of different roles and end up doing a lot of different stuff. Because even then, you got the church stuff too. Yeah. That's like having another job outside of work. Yeah. But it's like, it's just about, I take it a day at a time, a task at a time, a group chat at a time, a text message at a time, bro. Because if you just sit back and think about everything that you're trying to do, at least for me, I can get overwhelmed. Yeah. So I just wake up every day and just deal with what's in my phone on that day and what's on my calendar for that day. And then, you know, when that day is over, I go to sleep and wake up and do it all over again. And you look up and hopefully you've been doing things the right way and there's progress. That's good news. Any last words? Well, you about to take me out, bro. Come on, any last words? Any last thoughts? Final thoughts. Final thoughts. Like, you're like, hold on, bro. Any last words? Crazy. So final thought. Nah, man. You know, keep putting in work. Do you build a business? Have some fun. You know what I mean? Kick it with the homies. Do all of it. Just enjoy life, bro. Because it's limited. Yeah. It seems like tomorrow ain't promised. Blah blah blah. Cliche, whatever. But it's like for real. Like, so you know, start that business. Take that chance. Save up, quit that job, do whatever, like, you know what I mean, buy that investment property, whatever it is you're trying to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? Push it forward, because, you know, if you don't do it, then who else will? Yeah. From your perspective, nobody can do it like you. So, make it happen. Shout out your Instagram, your Twitter handles, all that good stuff. Yeah, man. Dave Has Wings, DAVE _has, HAS, Wings, WINGZ, and that's Instagram and Twitter, Facebook too, and then DaveHasWings.com. You can find all my like work, portfolio, resume, whatever. Yeah, and then Hugh House. It's HughHouse.com. That's ITSHUEHOUSE. And it's Hugh House on all social media. HughHouse.com, and then yeah, man. That's it. All right. This is another episode of Tapped In with Dream Muzan. Appreciate you coming through, bro. Man, thanks for having me. Love. Until next time, peace.